Today is Friday of the second week of Easter. We are in the town of Wernersville, Pennsylvania, about 2 hours north of Baltimore and about an hour west of Philadelphia. Behind me is a building that was built in the late 1920s, given as a gift to the Society of Jesus by Nicholas and Genevieve Brady. It was built as a novitiate and juniorate for the Maryland province. There were about 100 novices here every year, beginning in 1930 to about 1965 or 70. There were also 100 juniors here. They were completing their third and fourth years in the society, beginning their undergraduate work. Then there were 100 or so brothers and priests who served to care for the novices and the juniors, to train them and teach them, and to maintain this extraordinary property. Behind me you will see the roof of the main chapel, a 3-story Italianate chapel, beautifully done. And then the tower over the crossing of the main corridor between the novice wing and the junior wing. And behind that, the dining room. This Jesuit center served for many years as a novitiate and juniorate. Many Jesuits of my generation, you may know from the Maryland province, will have begun their services here. But in the 60s and 70s, the numbers of men declined, and this center became a retreat center with a lay staff and Jesuit staff, of course, of directors and those caring for lay people coming here for retreats. And yet times change. And so as of August of this year, this center will close entirely and probably will move from the hands of the Society of Jesus to other hands. At this moment, we don't know what that future holds. What we do know is that God is good, and that God's goodness brought great opportunity, spiritual experience, spiritual formation to many men here for many years, and then to many men and lay men and lay women who came here to study, to work, to teach, and also to be formatories. So times pass. What are you and I to do? Well, we name the good things that have happened, all the wonderful things that have happened in this place. We grieve the passing of things that we've loved. And we recognize that the future, though entirely unknown, is in God's hands, and that God will faithfully lead us forward as we are faithful to Him. In our first reading today, we hear the disciples proclaiming Jesus, who He was, what He taught, and His death and resurrection. In our gospel today, Jesus feeds the 5,000. He fed them, He feeds us. He will feed us as we move into an unknown future. Above all, our psalm tells us that we must not be afraid. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Of whom should I be afraid? And then the King James translation goes on to say, though the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and fall. You and I are always in good hands when we are in God's hands. Our lives, our past, our present, and our futures. Let's be faithful today to the God who's so faithful to us. And now, let me give you a little literal tour of the horizon of this wonderful place. All the best to you today, and may God bless.